The hammer fell like a heartbeat, steady, deliberate, each strike echoing off the massive stone overhang like a declaration.
You are raising children in a cave like savages, William.
William drove another nail, his eyes never lifting from the timber, as if the words were nothing but wind.
Let them talk.
Down the slope, a wagon creaked to a halt, its bed piled high with sawed planks and iron tools. His family had arrived.
Are you certain about this place, William?
It's the one place that won't kill us when winter comes.
The children scrambled out, their eyes widening at the stone ceiling that arched over their heads like a frozen wave. The dog bounded toward the alcove entrance, tail wagging a defiance that Amos's scorn couldn't touch.
He'll learn. Rock and stubbornness don't hold heat.
As the last plank was stacked, William pulled Sarah aside to the shadow of the overhang, his voice low.
You've never been this stubborn about a piece of land. What is it you are not telling me?
3 winters ago, a family named Peterson froze in a fine cabin. The wind got inside, fire still burning.
The silence that followed hung between them like a ghost, the canyon below empty and indifferent.
And you think this rock will stop the wind?
The rock isn't just a roof, it's a shield. Wind slides right over it. No drafts, no frozen children.
Then we make it tight. No seams, no gaps. I won't lose anyone else.
Not far off, Thomas and Anne were already laughing, shaping a snowman in the shelter of the overhang, oblivious to the weight of their parents' words.
Not this time.
The sun sank behind the cliff, and the alcove chilled, but William's purpose had never been warmer. William worked the adze until the timber fit the rock, like a key into a lock. No gap, no seam, but as the walls rose, so did the audience. Amos appeared on the ridge with 6 townsmen, their laughter carried on the wind.
Still building your cave, William? You'll be crying for a real roof when the north wind howls.
Why does he talk to Father like that? Father, why are they so mean?
Because they're afraid, son. Afraid of what they don't understand.
The boy nodded, but the sting lingered like frost on a window pane.
You can't shield them from every sharp word.
Number. But I can build walls that stop more than words.
By the first snow, the cabin frame stood complete under the overhang, its timbers like ribs of some great beast waiting for winter's breath. William drove the final nail into the last plank, the sound swallowed by the first heavy flakes of snow. By nightfall, the family gathered inside, the rock walls and timber seams their new world from this evening onward.
No more drafty tents or borrowed barn corners. This feels like a real home at last.
Is that rock really going to keep us warm all winter, Mother?
Your father believes it will. And I believe in him.
She tucked the children into their bunks, the stove's glow painting the stone ceiling in soft amber. William stood at the threshold, the dog at his feet, watching the snow bury their morning tracks.
Let it come. We are as ready as we will ever be. Now we wait.
He pulled the door shut, and the cabin sealed against the falling night. The canyon fell silent. That night, a sharp wind funneled down the canyon. Inside the cabin, Sarah woke to a cold whisper across her cheek.
William, there's a draft. I feel it like a cold hand on my skin.
Give me the lantern. This rock should have stopped it, but the joints need filler.
By first light, he was outside, packing every seam with frozen moss and clay, the wind biting his fingers raw. By noon, a rider passed below, his words clawing through the wind. The Cooper roof had collapsed.
And they had a real house. This shelter is the only thing standing between us and that fate.
No more air moving. That's the killer. The cold. We can fight with the stove.
Throughout the day, he hammered wedge after wedge of moss until the candle flame inside no longer flickered. By evening, the cabin felt tighter, but the howl outside promised this was only the first breath of winter.
It starts here. The real test hasn't even begun.
3 days later, the temperature dropped like a stone. The stove ate wood faster than William could split it.
William, we can't stay. The children are shivering even under every blanket we own.
And where exactly should we go, Sarah? To a town full of houses that let the wind through their walls.
At least there'd be other fires, other hands to help if something goes wrong. Here, we're alone.
In the dead of night, long after the stove had given its last glow, William pressed his palm to the back wall. The rough stone felt warm. Not just not cold, but dry and alive, as though the cliff had a heartbeat.
Residual heat from the stove. It has to be. Nothing else makes sense.
But the stove had been cold for hours. The rock should have been an ice sheet.
What are you staring at, William?
Nothing. Go back to sleep. It's just the cold playing tricks on a tired man.
The next morning broke clear and brittle. Sunlight angled into the alcove, striking the back wall with a force that felt deliberate. William stood at the wall, palm flat against the stone. Already, the warmth was sinking into his bones.
It's storing the heat, like a great stone battery.
He tracked the sun's path across the rock face all day, noting how the heat lingered long after the light moved on. That night, long after the fire had died, he called Sarah to touch the stone. It was still warm.
The stone remembers the sun, Sarah. It soaks up all day and gives it back at night.
That sounds like a fairy tale, not a furnace. Can we rely on a fable to keep our children alive?
Feel it. It's not a story. This rock is the reason we aren't freezing right now.
Maybe. Maybe it will be enough.
The cabin did feel less cold that night, but neither of them said what they both knew. The true test was still waiting in the wings. The cold snap seized the valley like a wolf's jaw. From the alcove, William counted only 3 thin lines of smoke from the town. Then a figure broke from the tree line, struggling up the path with the hunched gait of a man losing a fight with the weather.
William, open the door before I freeze to your cursed rock.
The door swung open, and Amos nearly fell inside, his face a mask of ice and desperate pride.
I came to see how you were faring.
Sit by the stove. Amos, you look half dead.
Amos looked around the room, at the children playing on warm boards, at the walls that held the day's heat, and his silence was louder than any mockery. His hand brushed the stone. It was warmer than his own skin. He left without another word, the door closing behind him on the first real proof that William hadn't been mad. But even as the latch clicked, a new bank of clouds stacked against the northern peaks, promising a test far beyond a simple cold snap. The clouds stacked like iron anvils. A lone rider crossed the canyon floor below, his voice torn away by the rising wind. A thin cry reached him, a storm coming like the world's ending. Get inside and stay there.
Sarah, bring the children inside now. I will not lose anyone to what is coming.
He spent the next hour dragging every split log, every tool, every blanket into the shelter of the overhang as the sky darkened.
Do you think the rock can hold against a storm like the trapper described?
It has to. It is the only thing that will...
By nightfall, the first gusts screamed across the overhang like a train of ghosts, but the alcove was still.
This is the moment. All the seams, all the moss, all the hope, it all faces judgment now.
Inside, the family gathered near the warm stone as the wind began to howl like a living thing denied its prey. The door held. The overhang groaned under the weight of a sky turned solid white, but nothing, not a flake, not a draft, breached the alcove. The blizzard hit with a fury that shook the mountain. A roar so constant it became silence, but under the overhang, the air was still. The snow drove sideways at the edge, yet not a single flake reached the cabin door.
William, the wall. It's warm. Not just warm from the stove, but like a living thing.
The stone remembers the sun, Sarah, just as I said.
The children slept, their faces relaxed for the first time in days, wrapped in the scent of heated rock and wool.
A cave, they called it. But this cave is a castle against the sky's fury.
Will the storm ever stop, Father?
It will, when it has spent its rage. And we will still be here, unbroken.
Outside, the world was a white abyss. The canyon had disappeared, swallowed by the blizzard's endless hunger. Morning came as a faint lightning, but the wind never relented. The family was an island in a sea of death, and they had survived the first night. William forced the door open, the wind slamming his chest like a frozen fist as he stepped out under the overhang's edge. The roar numbed his ears. The canyon was a white abyss. The overhang carved a line where chaos met a fragile peace, and beyond it, death ruled. Then, a deep crack echoed through the gale. A tree splintering, or a roof giving way somewhere in the white hell. William stiffened. He knew that sound. Someone's shelter was failing, and the wind was finishing the work.
Father, are people going to die tonight?
Some will, but not us.
He pulled Thomas back inside, latching the door against the storm's hungry roar. The canyon lay buried, only their chimney smoke threading into the wind, a lone signal of life in the frozen waste.
Safe for now. But this stone is the only thing standing between us and that same sound.
Outside, the blizzard had not yet given its last scream. It was only waiting. For 3 days, the blizzard scoured the world without pause. The family survived on jerky and the stone's unyielding warmth. On the third night, the wind's scream faltered into a ragged moan, then a whisper, then silence. William cracked the door. Cold air stole his breath, but the overhang had kept the entrance clear. Snow curtained the alcove's mouth, a thick, soft fall that deadened the world. Then a sound, thin, desperate, unmistakably human. A cry drifted up from the buried canyon below. It stopped his heart.
Sarah, there's someone alive down there. I heard a voice.
The cry came again, fainter, carried on the last sigh of the dying gale. He had to move fast.
They won't last much longer in this cold, not without help.
You are not thinking of going out there? The path will be death in this snow.
He did not answer. Coiling the rope, he stepped into the white, the dog at his heels. The choice had made itself. The path was a frozen scar cut into the cliff face. William descended, the rope biting his waist, each step a betrayal of trust with the ice. He found them in a hollow, a man and woman, faces frostbitten, huddled together as if frozen in prayer.
Get up. I am taking you to shelter. Grab the rope.
Can't feel my legs. We're done for. Leave us.
You'll feel them again if you move. I will not lose anyone else today.
He hauled them upright, their weight sagging against him. The dog circled, barking them upward as the wind rejoined its fury.
Just keep the rock above you. Don't look down. Don't stop. Not until we reach the alcove. The overhang. It's the only line between them and the grave. Hold on to it, even in our mind.
The climb became a blur of pain and falling snow. Twice Liza slipped. Twice William caught her, his own strength fraying. Then, the warm glow of the alcove cut through the white, still distant, but a promise of survival. They crawled toward it. The door swung open to Sarah's silhouette, a lantern trembling in her grip as William and the strangers staggered into the warmth.
Bring them to the stove. Thomas, fetch all the blankets we have.
Garrick's frozen hands shook so badly he could barely hold the cup. Tears cut tracks through the frost on his cheeks.
We gave up out there. We said goodbye to each other. I never thought I'd feel heat again.
Liza could only nod, her lips too swollen to speak, her fingers curling toward the stove's glow like flowers toward a lost sun.
You are safe now. This rock, this home, has stood against the worst. You'll survive the night.
2 more souls saved by the stone, but the storm's not done testing us yet.
Garrick turned toward the back wall, still radiating its steady, inexplicable heat. His frost-bitten hand reached out, as if questioning its reality.
What? What is this? The wall feels like a living thing.
The children stared, wide-eyed, as the strangers began to thaw. Outside, the wind still moaned, but inside the alcove, life clung stubbornly on. As the firelight flickered, Garrick's gaze fixed on the stone wall, a deep furrow carving his brow.
Wait, there are marks on this wall, like something carved long ago.
William crouched beside him, lantern raised, the carvings barely visible in the dancing light.
I've lived here for months and never saw that. What could it mean?
The lines were too straight for nature, too deliberate. The ghost of a doorway sealed by time.
Fetch another light, Thomas. We need to see this clearly.
As the lanterns banished shadows, the outline sharpened. A rough, rectangular seam, the height of a man.
It's a door, William. Someone built a door into the cliff before we ever came.
Who would have lived here? And where did they go?
The wall held its silence, but the question burned. Who else had called this rock a home? William wedged a pry bar into the faint seam, his muscles straining as Garrick pulled beside him.
It's giving way. Another pull. Together.
The slab ground aside, releasing a rush of stale air. The dog whined, backing from the newly opened darkness. William took the lantern and crawled through, the stone scraping his back as he emerged into a hidden chamber. The lantern's glow revealed a low ceiling blackened by ancient soot, and beneath it, a ring of charred stones. Against one wall, a pile of rotted furs and a crude, hand-hewn stone blade half buried in dust.
Someone lived here before us. Long ago. They knew.
His fingers closed around the stone blade, its edge still sharp, a silent testament to survival.
This wasn't a cave for savages. It was a fortress, chosen by ancients who understood the stone better than any townsman.
He turned the blade over in his palm, a gift from a ghost, proving that the alcove had saved lives long before his family's first fire. William crawled back through the narrow gap, his face lit by the lantern. The stone blade glinted in his hand like a relic.
What did you find? Is it safe in there?
Come and see. This place belongs to more than just us.
One by one, they squeezed through the narrow gap. Sarah, Thomas, Anne, then Garrick, supporting Liza, into the ancient stillness.
Father, were they savages, like the town said we are?
No, son. They were smart, smarter than anyone in town.
Generations survived here, William. We aren't the first to trust this rock. We're part of something old.
Liza knelt by the fire ring, her trembling fingers tracing the charred stones, as if touching the hands that had placed them.
This changes everything. The cave isn't a cave, it's an inheritance.
Now they'll know. The stone remembers more than just the sun. It remembers people.
By dawn, Garrick had made his way to the town, his voice carrying the impossible tale of a warm cave and ancient ghosts. A few hours later, a line of dark figures cut through the snow. Amos at the front, his face unreadable.
We heard the stranger's yarn, but I had to see it for myself. Is it true, William?
Come inside and feel the stone. Then you'll know what's true.
Amos stepped into the cabin, his hand instinctively reaching for the back wall. It was as warm as it had been before.
Now see where that warmth came from.
Amos crawled inside the ancient room, the lantern illuminating the soot-blackened ceiling. The other men followed in silence.
I was wrong, William. This wasn't a fool's choice. It was wisdom.
I didn't need your approval, but knowing others survived here before us, that's enough.
The townsfolk filed out, their jeers replaced by a quiet respect. The alcove was no longer a cave, it was a sanctuary. In the days that followed, a few came to the alcove not to mock, but to learn. A man from the valley asked William to build shelters like his own for others.
This place is my family's refuge. Let others find their own stone, if they have the sense to look.
Sarah cleaned the ancient hearth until the charred stones gleamed, a symbol of endurance now shared with the past. Thomas and Anne turned the hidden chamber into a secret playroom, their laughter bouncing off walls that had held only silence for ages.
We're the new people, Anne. We'll leave our marks too.
I drew a sun on the wall for the stone to remember.
William watched them from the doorway. The dog curled at his feet and felt a peace he had not known since before the blizzard.
The town sees us differently now. But that was never what you wanted, was it?
I just wanted a home that wouldn't kill my family. The stone gave us more than that.
Outside, the snow fell softly, and the overhang stood like a guardian, promising that whatever storms came next, this family would not face them alone. Months later, The canyon thawed into mud and runoff, but the northern sky was already turning, that familiar iron gray. William stood at the alcove's edge, the dog restless at his side, watching the clouds stack like a threat he no longer feared.
They'll call it another savage winter when this one hits.
Not for us.
Inside, the children slept near the warm stone, their charcoal sun still bright on the ancient wall.
I used to fear the storms. Now I see them as the stone's proving ground.
The stone doesn't need to prove anything anymore. It already did.
He rested a hand on the rock, the familiar warmth, a quiet reassurance beneath his palm. Far below, the first flakes began to fall, but the overhang carved a shelter that felt eternal. The family was ready, the rock remembered, and so would they. Outside, the blizzard raged anew, but the overhang cut a void of calm. The cabin glowed like a lantern in the stone's belly. William closed the door and moved through the quiet room. The ancient chamber, now a tidy nook, held their rations and firewood. He added a log to the stove, the flames catching eagerly. Then, as he did every night, he crossed to the back wall and pressed his palm flat against the stone.
Still warm. Always.
A quiet nod, a silent conversation with the rock. The dog circled once and settled at his feet, tail thumping once on the wooden floor. Outside, the storm screamed through the canyon, but beneath the overhang, the home was a fortress of stillness. The light in the windows defied the blizzard, a fierce golden promise against the white. The overhang stood, as it always had, a guardian of stone, sheltering the family through the worst, and through whatever still lay ahead. In the night's deepest hour, the blizzard screamed, but inside the alcove, only the children's breathing stirred the heavy, warm air. Sarah slept with her hand on the warm stone, her fingers curled like a promise finally kept. The dog dreamed by the stove, its coat dusted with ember light, chasing phantoms through fields of fire and snow. William traced the ancient door seam, the rock alive beneath his calloused skin.
Those who came before, those who will follow. The stone remembers us all, patient as the mountain.
Outside, the overhang turned the wind into a song that no one inside could hear. The cabin's light held steady, a golden line against the white, a stubborn star. The canyon vanished, but the alcove remained, a pocket of life carved into the mountain's memory, defiant and eternal. And in that quiet, a family slept on, part of a lineage written in stone that stretched back through unknowable winters. The overhang held. The stone remembered.